Good morning. You can do it. Good morning from the Sommerkaiser in Austria. So we're in the kitchen. It's 7:30 in the morning. I'm just going to go through Mary Berry's classic English Christmas cake. So I fancy doing that for friends over here. So as normal, I've gone out to try and get the ingredients and can't find half the stuff. So very quickly we have to soak all the dried fruit for 3 days in brandy. In those 3 days it'll give me time to get all the correct ingredients. So I've got sultanas here. So you need 350 grams, which are obviously weighing on the scales. I'm just going straight through her recipe. So you need 350 grams of sultanas, 500 grams of currants, and 175 grams of raisins. And I had to look it all up because even in my years I still didn't actually really know the difference between the lot. They're all coming from grapes. So the currant is a smaller, sweeter version of a raisin, which obviously is coming from a grape as well. The sultana comes from green grapes, the large green grape, which is then dry. So that's why the sultanas are usually bigger than the raisins, which are bigger than the currants. Anyway, that bit of lecture over. So I've got my, according to her recipe, I need 350 of glazed cherries, or quiche over here. So I'm going to cut these in, they've got to be cut in half, so I've got to chop those in half, and then we're going to pop them in there, and if I've got any other ingredients I'll pop them in there that from the dried fruit side, and then we'll put some brandy in. And the brandy I'm going to put in here is some fine Anisio, however you pronounce that, from Greece. So it's perfect for cooking brandy. So I think we need a quarter of a litre of that. Yeah, quarter of a litre of brandy, which we will then put in this bowl with all the dried fruit, and they can leave to soak. So let me get on and I'll finish cutting my cherries and I'll be back soon. So we've chopped a lot of these up. It's glazed, well, all of them actually. They're glazed, so it's very sticky and sugary. I was gonna, because I haven't got all the ingredients, I've got, this is some local chopped mixed fruit, but I'm reading the label on that, and there's a lot of corn syrup in there, which we definitely want to keep away from. It's really poisonous stuff, that. Not all sugars are the same. Sugar is bad in general, and we don't have it in this house, but as it's Christmas we'll have some for the cake. But if anyone's interested in, I can do let me know, because I'll do a little thing about corn syrup and how bad it is and why it's bad and things like that. So they are going to go in there, and then we need to measure out quarter of a litre of this. Normally I'll just chuck it in because I know it's going to be about a third of that, but as we're going to be professional, we'll get our trusty little measuring thing. I love these, this is great, really simple, got all sorts of different measurements in there for solids and liquids, really handy. So we'll use that, we'll pour that into that, quarter of a litre into there. So as I'm on my own, they're in the other room playing, I'm going to have to put this video down, so I'll be back in a second. We're going to go up to 250 on here, very simple, easy peasy. Oh, that's a lot of brandy. Actually, it's quite a lot of brandy when you think about it. If I was to drink 250ml of brandy, I think it'd be quite good. Good old bucket chemistry would have worked just as well, because it's basically a third of that bottle. So we just pour that in there. Oh, I mean, that's a good bath. So presumably the theory is we leave that for 3 days. In my case it might be a little bit longer while I get the ingredients, as I'm in Germany and Austria and I'm a tad busy at the moment. So we'll put all this into there, and then we'll leave that to set for 3 days. So we're making the Christmas cake because we're out here in Austria. I've got a young daughter, very young, 3 years old, and I'm trying to just keep her in touch with the traditions of my childhood. So Mum always used to make a Christmas cake. So I used to love making that with Mum and filling it full of brandy and letting it soak for ages, and then making it and letting it stew somewhere in a cupboard for months before Christmas. So I'm going to do that with Heidi now. Put some cling film, the zest of an orange we need to put in, put some cling film over there, and we'll leave it for 3 days, and then I'll get all the other ingredients together and we'll carry on making it. But as you can see, it is a 5-minute job so far anyway. You can do it. Can't find any cling film, so I'll just put some cling foil over there, and I'll do that until I get the rest of the ingredients.